We are joined today for an event actually that we've been looking forward to for well over a month, maybe 6 or 7 weeks since we first approached Ben Williams. We're joined today by 6 members of a very highly collaborative and creative group in town called New Jxn. They are Ben Williams. He's a composer, bassoonist, a teacher at MC, and occasionally a keyboardist as well, I think, on this program as well. Tyler Kemp is a pianist. His wife, Shelley, is a part of the group. She's a violinist, but she is at home with their 5-week-old. Veronica Perales is a cellist. Jason Mathena is a percussionist in the group, and Adam Almeter is on trombone in that group. And welcome, guys. Good to have you with us. So
Thanks. Thank you.
Much of this hour is going to be performances, a little bit departure from what we've done in the past, more performing, both live and recorded. They're going to perform a couple live pieces and a couple premieres, in fact. So guys, we're going to start right off with a recorded performance, I think, of a piece that you premiered. I kind of remember being done at the Art Museum a little over a year ago. And Adam, I'm going to ask you to jump in here and kind of set this piece up. My memory is that it was a piece that you had gone to Ben and said, you were running a lot at the time, and how nice it would be to have a piece that was a piece you could run to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got into running a year and a half ago, and it was kind of just it was a nice thing to kind of listen to playlists that had already been made on Spotify, and I thought this is a perfect opportunity for Ben to write something that's a little bit outside of the norm. Write something specifically. A lot of what we've done in the past is stuff that we've pulled from other places. It would be great to do something that has a specific purpose. And he put it together, and it's a fun little piece. And I ran to it, and it's great running music.
Well, it's a wonderful piece to listen to too. It features each of you in your own unique ways. So I think, Brooke, are you ready here to play this piece? This is running music by Benjamin Williams with all 6 members of New Jxn. So that's a piece called Running Music by Ben Williams, performed by all 6 members of New Jxn who are with us today. A perfect piece, really, Ben, to get us started, because to highlight you guys, but it also presents each of you doing your own thing. And by the way, a great video, huh? I mean, just such a great performance video. So you guys are performing pieces like this that are tailor-made for each member of the group, very creative, fresh energy, lots of great ideas that are different from anything we've seen in town, really. And can you talk to us a little bit about how you guys got started? And I'm sure you haven't talked about a core mission, but if you had to talk about what a core mission is of the group, what it would be.
I can jump in there to get us started. So the idea of us getting started with the group really did start with just some conversations with the group members as we were hanging out. Tyler and I, of course, work together over at MC, and so we see each other there. We see all these folks from the Symphony, and just hanging around, talking about opportunities to do new music. And I think if you just kind of look at the name New Jxn, it kind of plays into what we do in our core mission. We focus on new music. I don't think we're playing anything tonight that was written more than a decade ago. And almost everything was written within the last year or two. And we have three things that we're premiering here. So just fresh new music all the time. And of course, we focus on Jxn and Jxn musicians. And so all the members are living here in Jxn. We work with Jxn composers. We present our music in Jxn. We really want to make new music part of our community here. And I'll let any of the other ones say anything if they want to.
The other newness we were talking about was maybe not just new music, but new concert experiences, and also new audiences. We're all, classical musicians first, and I remember us having conversations about how are we going to get Joe Schmo to come see us in the concert hall. Well, let's meet Joe Schmo where he is. So let's provide, unique classical music experiences in different locations. So, to try to bridge the gap. The thought was that we could combine 2 audiences eventually. Maybe the classical audience and the I don't like the word Joe Schmo, but we want to bring more people together through music, and we want them to love the classical music that we love, but also try to meet them in the middle with the new style of music that we're doing.
That's Tyler. One more quick question before we go to our next piece. Just really on the following that question up. There's so many great new music groups in places like New York and of course Brooklyn right now. Bang on a Can, Alarm Will Sound, and I expect that maybe Adam knows Eighth Blackbird, which is in Chicago, I think, a 6-member ensemble, not unlike what you guys are doing. So I'm just wondering, in terms of instrumentation or even the kind of repertoire, was it a conscious modeling of those groups, or you were just kind of friends, as you said, Ben, kind of friends getting together doing what you do? It was more organic, really, probably for you, just reflecting on what you guys were doing.
And yeah. I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but I'll start off by saying this is a weird instrumentation. It is difficult writing for so many low instruments. We've got this bassoon, trombone, and cello, and then the only melody instrument half the time is that violin with Shelley. And it's just so strange, but it's a lot of fun. It creates opportunities that forces us to make for new music and find things that work for us.
Well, we're going to turn now to Jason and Veronica. This next piece is a duo with Jason Mathena on percussion. Maybe Veronica wants to address it, and then Veronica on cello. You knew Caroline, or you know of Caroline Shaw from New York, Veronica, and you know her music. In fact, you shared a little bit about Caroline Shaw with me. But did you know this particular piece, or did you guys go looking for it?
No, so we went down a rabbit hole just looking for pieces for keyboard, percussion, and cello on YouTube, and just ran across this one, and which is not, but it's not for marimba or cello. It's actually for clay pots, pitched clay pots. So I had to spend. It was cold. It was December or January. Outside at Home Depot with my phone. has a tuner on it, and I'm literally holding it in clay pots and just hitting them with something, trying to find the right pitches.
I told him to use a tuner because I was tired of him asking me, "What note is this? What note is this?
No.
What note is this? What note is this?"
And so then we it's a fascinating. I'll let Veronica explain the purpose behind the piece. But we did a number of different versions. We did one where I actually tried to change the pitch to get it right. I filled it up with water, and one of our birds, who you can hear in the background right now, was flying around while we were recording. It lands on that pot, starts drinking out of it while we're actually making a recording of it. So I thought it was wonderful. I'm like playing on the pot and the water's vibrating. He's just sitting there looking at me, dunking his head in there, drinking water. But it's an interesting sound. You're thinking clay pots. Some of you might be thinking, well, that doesn't sound very nice, but it's a quite beautiful sound. I'm still in search of the perfect mallet for it. I still haven't quite figured out. I think it's going to change for each setting, but I'll let Veronica explain what Boris Kerner is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that is kind of the gimmick of the piece. I'm not sure if it's the point of the piece is to showcase clay pots necessarily, or flower pots. I mean, it could probably be any kind of vessel or vase or cup type object you find in your house, as long as it has a nice resonance to it. And it's approximate pitches, right? It doesn't have to be exact, so there's some freedom there. But I think the structure of the piece is more about, as I mentioned to Crafton before, she wrote a foreword. I know the birds, I'm sorry, it's that time of day. She read a book on basically statistics and flow, studying traffic. I guess, was it in Berlin maybe? And the author was Boris Kerner. And she was fascinated by the randomness that could still be kind of predictable and calculated, depending on, the time of day or the intersection. Even though there are some uncontrollable factors, eventually you can see patterns in the flow of traffic. So I like the piece because, there's a kind of Baroque cello opening, and I'm by myself for a while, and then Jxn comes in, and we're each kind of doing parallel but independent lines, and then gradually grow closer together and become more of a, I guess, not more of a conversation, but almost more in unison to the climax of the piece, and then we separate again. So Caroline Shaw is, it sounds kind of cerebral, but she's actually a very visceral composer, and it's very accessible, it's very tonal, and I don't know, I like that she wrote stuff for kind of unusual instrumentation. I appreciate that.
Let's jump to it. This is a piece then with just Veronica on cello and Jxn on clay pots by Caroline Shaw. Music from Boris Kerner. What a great piece for you guys. Nice pots, by the way, Jason. A piece by Caroline Shaw, played by Veronica Prowlis and Jason Mathena on clay pots. Tyler, let's go to you because I want to press right ahead and get to this next piece. And it's really a perfect example of what your group's all about, because it's another piece that was just tailor-made for you, for members of the group. And if I could kind of ask you to just bend a little bit towards talking about this one thing, and that is, as a performer, and this is a premiere of a piece, you know the composer, of course, you're right there. It came about. You're going to talk to us about how it came about, but you're still part of creating a new piece. You're still very much engaged, and it's one of the great exciting things about being a member of a group like this. So could you kind of set this piece up and also talk about that a little bit, Tyler?
Sure. Crafts is talking about a piece that Dr. Jimmy Slaughter wrote recently. I have a newborn. Actually, my wife just sent me a photo. I'm going to be a total dad. These are the photos we like the best, where she's sound asleep. So, but I asked Jimmy if he had any left-hand music, because I was sitting at the piano with the baby in one hand and able to play with the other. And he said, well, no. And then I asked him a few weeks later if he'd be willing to write something, and he said, well, I already have.
Show us again. Show us the picture again, would you?
Sure. This is called old-fashioned screen sharing.
There she is.
Yeah, there she is.
And her name is
Zoe.
And so this piece of music is called
Sweet Miss Zoe, and it's a lullaby. And I just want to say thanks to Jimmy Slaughter for writing this, and for being a great friend and a partner in crime with us on our new Jxn journey. So here's a lullaby called Sweet Miss Zoe.
I hope Jimmy is on. Thank you, Jimmy. That's Tyler Kemp on keyboard, playing a piece for the first time publicly, a piece to be played by the left hand while he's holding his new child, Zoe. And just like running music, I'm sure this piece has been performed in just that way by now, I think. We're going to turn right away where I'm going to go to you, maybe Adam, to set up this next piece. This is another premiere, a piece written by Ben, just written for Ben on organ, Ben Williams on organ, and you on trombone. Can you tell us a little bit about how this came about before we go to it?
So in the middle of COVID, every year it's about time for Ben to write a new piece for either new Jxn or something that we're doing. So mid COVID, it was kind of like, well, what would be really hip is let's throw some trombone organ music together, and Ben wrote this kind of really fabulous piece. We couldn't come up with a name for it though. That was the hardest part for it. So we're doing the recording. Tyler did the editing. Thank you, Tyler, for that. And we still didn't have a name. And one of the things that me and Ben have been doing for about 3 years now, we do a weekly book club where we've been going through the great books of Western literature, which is way above my intelligence level. I play trombone and I play like 6 notes. But I do remember that there were 2 books in there written by Aristotle. There was his Nicomachean Ethics and his Poetics. And this piece kind of follows that narrative, or at least that's what we're going to say it does, where it's a very logical, very like kind of rational, very thorough kind of beginning. The trombone's going all over the place, the organ's kind of doing the same, and then you have this incredible middle section that was super poetic. Just kind of made sense to name it that, and hopefully the name sticks. We might change it later, but we'll see. Ben, you got anything?
That's great.
Sweet.
So here then, as soon as Brooke is ready to go, here's Ethics and Poetics by Ben Williams. Another piece, guys, that is it's an unlikely combination. Music played by music members of New Jxn Ensemble, but a piece that I don't instrumentation I don't think I've ever seen before, trombone and organ. And Ben, we're going to turn to you to set up this last piece. It's a 5-minute piece, again a premiere, and we're going to in the meantime we're going to go to Ben and just say another creative piece. When we first went to you, Ben, and said we'd love to have New Jxn join us for the happy hour in a few months, what could we do? You immediately said, well, let's do a new piece, and a piece, well, I'm going to let you take it from there, a piece that would actually capitalize on the fact that it's on this platform, on the Zoom platform. So tell us a little bit about what you were trying to do here.
Yeah, so we've been kind of lucky that we've had a number of opportunities for premieres tonight, but this idea of using the Zoom as one more sort of member of the group, as making an extra challenge, and I really enjoy the challenge of each new piece that I write. And so what we anticipated was there'd be delay between us, that we'd have a hard time sticking together. There'd be all sorts of issues with hearing each other, following each other, all those sorts of things. And that's part of what life has been like, trying to do everything by Zoom. And so I paired that with, you may not hear it exactly, but the melody is rooted in the tune Shall We Gather by the River, an idea of coming together at the same time as pulling apart. And the piece is called Streams, both playing off of that idea of internet streams pulling us apart, and then the river streams pulling us together again, and gathering together. And this has been a fun couple of nights figuring this out, and who knows what's going to happen here as the group gets unmuted and Grafton takes over.
So we're going to turn the hosting over now to Brooke. Brooke's been curating the questions during the program so far. Brooke, it's all yours. I understand we have some that we've had seen in chat so far.
Yeah, we have a few questions here tonight. First of all, thank you so much for that premiere. The concept behind that piece was very much a metaphor for life, and at least life through the pandemic. So very enjoyable. We've got one question here asking where everybody is from and where you play and what you do outside of the ensemble. So I don't know if we want to just round robin quickly through everyone. But
sure, I can start. I'm from Ohio, Canton, Ohio, and as I mentioned, I teach at Mississippi College.
I'll go next. I'm from Louisville, Mississippi, and I teach at Mississippi College also.
I am from Chicago and Indiana, and I primarily play with the Symphony Orchestra, and I also teach at MC and Millsaps and Belhaven.
I guess I'll go next. I'm from Alabama originally. I teach at Millsaps, Jackson State, and Jackson Prep. And well, I used to play in the symphony. I hopefully will again someday soon. So far, I play with Tyler at Bellwether Church. That's my only gig so far since we've been on pandemic.
Really? You want to know where I'm from? New York City. Born and raised in New York City. I spent a few years in New Jersey at Rutgers University, and I was playing in Baton Rouge Symphony before I got this job 5 years ago.
Great, thank you all. Here's another question. I don't know who wants to take this, but it says, where do you get ideas for your music? And it seems like it sort of comes from everywhere, but does anybody in particular want to take that question?
I usually start with the words "what if," like "what if we did this" or "what if we did that." And it's always like, how could we do that? And so it's usually a challenge that we accept, maybe. So someone else can answer that too.
And here's a follow-up. How would a young conductor go about submitting to the group for consideration?
Are we thinking about composer or conductor, like a new piece of new music?
A new piece of music, yes.
You could get in contact with any of us individually. You can connect with us on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. Anywhere you want to connect with us, we'd be happy to look at music for sure. We also just like to talk with people who are excited about making music in Jackson and around the area.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. This has been such a wonderful full evening of music. This is the most music we've ever presented on a happy hour, and lots of new stuff going on. So it was a great evening.
Brooke, I don't know. I see Helen has raised her hand. Did she have a question?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's my job now, is to watch for these kind of things. Helen, are you there still? Do you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I have to claim Ben because he's also our organist at St. Luke's United Methodist Church, where his piece was recorded. And we just feel so blessed to have him at our church. I'm the music director there. And so I just wanted to say I'm so proud.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us record that too. Thank you.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Okay, well, I think that's everybody, unless you see a hand raised craft that I am not seeing.
It's 6:30, and we promised folks we'd close up. So let's do. It's been wonderful. Been wonderful to have you guys.
It's been our pleasure.
A real treat
Yeah, thank you,
to
guys.
do this experimental hour.